Well, hi everybody and welcome back to Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming. It's tips at 5 p.m. It's Thursday night. And what is my tip today? Well, I have to tell you, it is the incredible, versatile liquid that's in this spray bottle. What is it? Apple cider vinegar. But just vinegar in general. It is amazing. Now you can get vinegar that's just white distilled vinegar. It comes in quarts, it comes in gallons. White vinegar is probably the most economical way to use things that you're going to clean. Clean your countertops, your floors, your windows. Distilled apple cider, distilled vinegar. They call it white vinegar. And you can get apple cider vinegar from a lot of different places, from a grocery store to the dollar store. These cost me $1. But if I was going to use apple cider vinegar that I was going to ingest, I would always use organic apple cider vinegar with Mother. And you will always see some sediment in the bottom of that kind of apple cider vinegar. This is Bragg's. I love Bragg's. It's my favorite. And it's not pasteurized, so it wasn't heated up. And it is a great vinegar. Now, is it powerful? Oh, you betcha it is. Do I drink it? Drink it in shots. It's really good for you. But we're going to talk about all the things that you can do with vinegars. Now, are those the only two kinds of vinegars? No. There's rice vinegar, there's wine vinegar, and there's what they call champagne vinegar. There's fruit vinegars that you literally make out of apple peels or raspberries or different kinds of fruits because it's a fermentation process. And so that you can always make your own if it's not available at the stores. Now there's probably 3 areas that I think of using vinegars. Outdoors, indoors, cleaning wise, and then health and beauty. So we're just going to go over a few of those in our tips at 5 p.m. Let's start outside. And that's what this is for. This I use not only to clean my tables and chairs off, but to kill weeds. This is full strength, and I use it to kill weeds that are coming up down here in Arizona, because a lot of the property right here is gravel because it's hot. In the summertime, it is really hot here. 110 for 100 days. It's craziness. But there are weeds that will start to come through your gravel. And a quick spray of this in the morning, and then by the time the sun gets up, and like today, it's going to be 80 degrees again, or 75 or 80. It's one of the coolest days this week. But when the sun hits that will just turn into nothing. And I'm not putting harsh chemicals. And I understand I'm walking on it. You know, I don't have a plant there. But that doesn't mean in 5 years I won't have a plant there. So I would rather use vinegar. And vinegar actually also works if you have an ant problem. And you can just spray it right on your doorways, your windows, just like you would lemon juice. And they do not like it, and they don't like to cross it. Now you have to repeat it. That's true. But they don't like the smell, and they certainly don't like the taste of it. Now, what else can I use outside? There are some very acid-loving plants that we want to grow. Like, I have azaleas back in Wyoming. Now, they say you can't grow azaleas in my soil because it's more to the alkaline side, where they like acidy soils. So what do? I mix 1 gallon of rainwater and 1 cup of vinegar. Mix that together, and I water my azaleas. I water my rhododendrons because they are an acid-loving plant. You could do that to blueberries that you had in a container or in the ground because they like acidy soils. To change an alkaline soil to a very acidy soil, basically almost impossible. But you can feed your plant so that it can thrive. If you get into stinging nettles and it just makes that your hand just tingle, just rub it with vinegar. It'll go away. Same with the bee sting. It'll go away. It pulls that sting out of your skin. And it becomes very versatile. When I'm soaking seeds like parsnips, Swiss chard, beets, they have a hard coating on there, and it makes it harder for them to sprout. It just takes longer. So I'm sure a lot of you that have gardened, you put the beet seeds in the ground and you wait and you wait and you wait and you think they're never going to come up. But then they eventually do. But to increase that, you're going to take 1/2 cup of vinegar. To that, you are going to add a drop of dish soap, Dawn or any of them, doesn't really matter. Just a drop in there. And 2 cups of warm water. And let it soak in that for at least 2 hours. If you want to do it the night before, that's okay too. But at least 2 hours. And that combination starts to break down that outer shell. And that makes it so it will sprout sooner. Just a trick. A tip. Now dogs. We all have dogs. Well, maybe not everybody has dogs, but we have dogs. And dogs can get sprayed by skunks. So can your cat. So can your horse. All kinds of different animals you might have may get sprayed by a skunk. It's a horrible smell. And you try all kinds of stuff. But apple cider vinegar is really a good option for you. And you can rub it on their coat, rinse them off good. And in fact, if you shampoo your dog or cat yourself, a lot of times there's a soap film that stays on their fur. A rinse of 50/50 vinegar will really help them. So you rub it all through their fur, rinse them with clear water, and it will get rid of that film of soap that's on their fur. And you just have a great, and your dog or cat will have a great fur. Very silky, very smooth. Now, chickens sometimes have a pecking order. But I know a lot of chicken breeders that put apple cider vinegar in the water, and it seems to fix that. There's no more pecking. And so I'm not really sure what stimulates them to peck, that when you have apple cider vinegar in their water, they don't do that. So if you are a chicken owner and you're having some trouble with pecking, why not put some apple cider vinegar in your water and see what happens. All kinds of vinegar, apple cider or the plain distilled vinegar, is really great for like wiping things off. The lens on a camera, your TV, your computer monitor, just wiping your mouse off. Not only does it disinfect and get rid of germs, but you just have that just slightly damp cloth with half vinegar, half water, and it wipes it off and it takes away static electricity, and it just is really helpful. Let's move inside. If you have a drain that does not want to drain, this is how I fix it. I put 1/2 cup of baking soda down and 1 cup of vinegar, and it will bubble all up. It'll start coming up and you'll see it when you look down the drain. And you just wait until that bubbling action stops and just pour hot water, boiling water if you want to, and it will fix a slow draining drain or one that's clogged. It just breaks it up. And that combination of baking soda and vinegar, and I like to use apple cider vinegar for that. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, the distilled will work. But that's just a preference that I have. And you can use vinegar to shine up brass, stainless steel, chrome, lots of things like that. And I always like to test everything first. And I usually don't use it full strength. It's usually 50/50. So I'll just test a little corner and see how it looks, because you don't want to ruin something, because just because something says it's stainless steel doesn't mean it's all stainless steel. It might have something added in there, and you just don't want to ruin anything that you have. Now, apple cider vinegar can actually help your hands. Say you're in the garden, you use lime. You have an acidy soil and you add lime in there to raise the pH some. Well, lime is really tough on your hands. And so going inside, washing them with vinegar, and then rinsing them off well will make it so your hands aren't, because lime can make them very itchy, flaky, dry, and rough, and the apple cider vinegar will help that. In fact, there's people that every day wipe their hands with apple cider vinegar. Now, does the apple cider vinegar smell? Yes, it does. You know, you got works really good, smells really bad. It's just the way it is. But there is a trick. Okay, this is what you do. Here's the trick. You take 1/2 part apple cider vinegar or distilled vinegar. Then you take 1/2 water. You're going to put it in a big pan. So if it's 2 cups of vinegar, it's 2 cups of water, half and half. You put it in a big pot and then throw in mint leaves. Just grab a whole bunch of mints. Mints are crazy when they're grown, and just grab some. In fact, at the grocery store, you can buy sprigs of mint. Throw those in there and bring it to a boil. Then you're going to turn the heat off and let it sit uncovered for 3 days. Strain it. And the apple cider vinegar or the regular vinegar smell, that powerful smell, is gone and replaced by the mint. And then you can just use it on your counters, on your windows, anything you want to use it for. And you don't have to dilute it because it's already half and half. But that's one way so it's not that powerful smell that sometimes turns people off. If you have a coffee maker, probably if you make a lot of coffee, every month, take your pot, fill it with vinegar, and pour it in as if you were pouring water. Let it go through the whole cycle. Then rinse it twice, let it go through the whole cycle with just water. And it will just take out any sediments or buildup that the water might have put in your coffee maker, and it will make your coffee maker last longer. It's the same with a teapot. And with a teapot, what I do is I put half and half of vinegar and water. I bring it to a boil, hard boil, so it's whistling, turn it off, and I let it set overnight. And it will just get rid of all any lime or calcium deposits inside your teapot. And so I appreciate that because I love my tea. Now, one of the things that can be difficult when you're doing dishes. Now, I do my own dishes. I don't have a dishwasher. But if I use a sponge, you know how sponges can get an odor. What do? You pour boiling vinegar over top of it. Just put your sponges in a bowl, pour the boiling vinegar over top. It will clean it. You'll rinse it after it's cooled down, but it will clean it, take all the germs away, disinfects it, and your sponges are ready to go again. Because sometimes Joe borrows my sponges. Why? He should have his own. But that's an easy trick on no matter what he has done with them, and I don't have to throw them away. Just something I do. Now, so sometimes you have a dishwasher, and the dishwasher can get calcium or lime deposits depending on your water, especially if you have hard water. All you have to do, put a cup of vinegar in the bottom of your dishwasher and run it through the cycle. And it will just clean it and refresh it, and your dishwasher will last longer. It's very versatile. When I'm just doing dishes and I know I'm going to do a lot of things that have a lot of gunk on them, I'll put a half a cup of vinegar into my dishwater because it just cleans it up so much better. If I ever scorch my iron, because it can happen. Sorry girls, it can happen. I just make a mixture of vinegar and salt. So if I'm using a half a cup of vinegar, I'm using a half a cup of salt. And I'm going to just make it, and it makes basically a paste. And I'm just going to rub it onto my iron. It's not too wet then, because it's very much a paste, and I'm just rubbing it with a cloth, and it will take any scorching off an iron. I like that. When my mom spilled some blueberry lemonade on their carpet, I mixed half vinegar and half water, little touch of dish soap, and I just cleaned that right up. It's amazing what vinegar can do. And the fact that you can make your own, I love that. One last thing in the kitchen. Sometimes your stove and the backsplash gets very greasy. And even when you don't really think you're cooking a lot of greasy food, it just happens. And you cleaned it with the soap and it cleans it, but it's not all the way clean. So use 1/4 cup of vinegar, 2 cups of water, and you mix that together real good. And then you add 1 teaspoon of borax. And the combination of those will get any of that greasy stuff. You can take that into the garage and get rid of a lot of grease. Just a trick for you. Now our last topic on tips at 5 p.m. What can we do in the beauty and health department when it comes to vinegar? There's a lot of people that take a teaspoon to a tablespoon of vinegar, apple cider vinegar, every single day. They mix it with water or honey or something, because I have to tell you, it's powerful. And every day that I take my vinegar, because I have it mixed with some different juices, it's like, like you're drinking something that's an alcohol that's really strong proof. And you're going, well, that's what happens every single day when I take it. But it's really good for you. And if you're going to be out in the sun and you don't like to use suntan lotion, mix a little bit of apple cider vinegar with a little bit of olive oil. And you can rub it on your skin and it will protect your skin from the sun. Now, if you already have a sunburn, then just rub vinegar onto your sunburn and it will really cool it down and help that. You will kind of smell like a pickle though. But I'd rather smell like a pickle than I would have burning sunburn on my skin. Choices. If you have hives for some reason, you can make a paste of vinegar and cornstarch and rub it on the hives and it will help relieve the hives. If you need to take a bath because of the hives or irritation on your skin, I just put 2 tablespoons of vinegar in my bath water and it will help relieve that. Now, warts. Because people get warts. It's just the facts. How you get them, I don't know. But you can do 1 part vinegar, 1 part glycerin. And you can put it on a wart, on your foot, on your hand, wherever you got it. And just continue to do that several times a day for a few days and it will just really just dry it up and it'll be gone. You can actually even use apple cider vinegar or regular vinegar, but I use apple cider vinegar as a deodorant. You can use it with a cloth or just a little spray bottle. Who knew all these things? Now, we've been going swimming, and one of the things that happens to me sometimes is I get what they call swimmer's ear. And that's when water gets way back in there, it's not draining right. But I can just put in half and half. 1 part vinegar, 1 part water, and just drop it in my ear. And I just lay, and it works its way down there, breaks that up, and it comes right out. And then I don't have it again. If you get cold sores, applying apple cider vinegar onto the cold sore will make it go away faster. There's literally hundreds, no, thousands of things that you can do with apple cider vinegar. If you have frizzy, unmanageable hair, your rinse can be half water, half vinegar. If you have oily hair, your rinse can be half vinegar, half water. It's amazing what it can do. If you have varicose veins, because I'm getting older, and sometime I may get those. An easy way to do, you take a cloth, soak it, drain it out so it's just damp, and wrap it around your legs. Saran wrap, and go to bed. And it will help your varicose veins. It's just, there's just so many things. Now, a lot of my friends get their nails done, or they paint their nails themselves. I don't, because I do my own dishes and it comes off all the time. And I get mad every single time that I decide to paint my fingernails, because the next day after I'm done dishes, part of it's off. But there's a trick. If you rub apple cider vinegar, let it dry on your nail first, and then paint it, not only will your nail polish be shinier, it will last longer. Just a little trick. But I could go on and on and on about apple cider vinegar. But it is a true tip at 5 p.m. As always, like, subscribe, share with the world. And I am here every Thursday for a tip at 5 p.m.